Welcome back to Star News TV. I'm Mark Childrey. Glad to have you here. If you're just tuning in, you may have missed the news, but one of the individuals who apparently tested positive for COVID-19 or coronavirus in Rockingham County dead, according to the health department. Dying earlier today, which is Wednesday, April the 1st, the patient in their 60s with several underlying medical conditions. The health department said to protect the family's privacy, they will release no further information about the patient at this time. Now, we do have Reidsville Mayor Dr. Jay Donecker with us for his weekly appearance. However, he is not in the studio with us today. He is actually by phone, and that's because for the time being we are making the decision here to limit our studio guests, and that's for their protection and for our protection, for everyone's protection, social distancing. So we're going to talk with the mayor about what's going on and how the coronavirus, how COVID-19, what's going on with it here in the city of Reidsville. Mayor, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. And just as you and I were getting ready to start this segment, we received the news that one person has died in Rockingham County. This is devastating news.
Yes, it is. Thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to the family that's associated with this person, and I'm very sorry to hear this. It's pretty incredible that we just found out that we had 2 positives in the county, and then within a matter of a day, one went on and died. So I'm very, very sorry to hear this.
We did ask, we don't know where these patients are from, and we did ask that question yesterday, and that was basically to our viewers. A lot of our viewers had requested to know information about where these people were from. Basically, not their identities, not anything that would identify them, but exactly where they were. Reidsville, Eden, and Madison, Mayodan, Stoneville, or out in the county. We were just trying to get that information. The health department said they wanted to protect the privacy of the families, and we certainly understand that. Of course, there's HIPAA laws as well, federal law on confidentiality. But are you getting a lot of questions? Let me ask you that before we go any further. We got some things we really need to talk about, but let me ask you, are you getting a lot of questions from people asking? You're a man of science, a man of medicine, so I know that you're probably getting a lot of these same questions.
Yes, I am, but I think we have to remember one thing. Many times people are asking the question to see maybe if they'd come in contact with this person. One of the reasons I live in Reidsville in Rockingham County is it's a small town, and you cross paths many times throughout the day with the same people. So wherever these 2 individuals lived in Rockingham County, I can guarantee that within 2 or 3 degrees of separation, we all have interacted with people that probably did interact with these 2 others.
Right.
So it really doesn't serve any purpose to go onto a sleuth hunt to figure out, oh, was it in Reidsville or Eden or Madison, Mayodan? Because the bottom line is we cross paths with so many people in our county on a daily basis as we go out and walk around. If we go to Lowe's Hardware, we go to the Food Lions here or wherever. So the most important thing is it's here in our county. The clinical cases that go to hospitals is really the tip of the iceberg. Therefore, for every couple that have gone to the hospital, you got to figure there are at least probably another 8 to 10 associated with each one of those people that have already been exposed over the previous 2 weeks before they started to show it. So it's here. We need to deal with it. It's not a matter to make people panicky. It's a matter of, okay, let's start doing social distancing with a purpose, because the purpose is we don't want to have any more people die or spread the infection to where people get more of a viral dose than what their body can handle.
And we know that there are people that are not adhering to the CDC guidelines, and I heard over the weekend that one particular business was jam-packed with people out just shopping, and sometimes several members of the same family all out and about. So we know that some people are not adhering to the guidelines of staying home, but I know that you wanted to address some things tonight with the citizens of Reidsville and talk about this. So why don't we do that? Some of the things that can help people to protect people.
You bet. If we want to speak about the best social distancing, that would be a good place to start.
And here we go. I think we've got some great graphics, and we do want to say thanks to Preston Mitchell, the city manager, to Rhonda Wheeler, and to Angela Stadler, everybody that helped to get all of this together to help out. So, do you want to run through these? Can you see these?
You bet.
Can you run through these for us?
I sure can. And I'd like to do a shout out for Missy Matthews, because she actually help with the graphics too.
Thank you, Miss.
Our Main Street manager.
Yeah, thanks.
These are what we are showing, what are called best practices. Unfortunately, our governor's order was very unclear in exactly what we mean by keeping 6 feet away from each other. Short of carrying around a 6-foot rule that you can stick out to make sure that you're doing it, it's hard for businesses to know what should they do. So, for instance, a business that is heavily traveled, such as our Lowe's Hardware, they need to put social distance markings on the floor, and we as individuals need to follow those as we make lines up to the checkout counter. We cannot expect people, managers, police officers, code enforcement to come in and tell everybody, now you all line up and get 6 feet apart. This is about social responsibility and individual responsibility. We, by nature, are very independent people, and the onus is on us. So you go into a Lowe's or you go into a Food Line, a number of businesses, they have these marks on the floor. There's a reason for that. It's to keep you separated.
Right.
There are also businesses that have arrows pointing what direction you're supposed to go down an aisle. The purpose for that is that you don't pass side by side with somebody that's going the opposite direction. A traffic cop at the end of every aisle to make sure you follow it. So here again, it's about individual social responsibility. Make sure you do it. And if you see somebody who isn't, you can do one of two things. You can say, hey, follow the lines, or you can passively just get away from that person and just go somewhere else, because it's all about keeping yourself properly spaced from somebody else that could very possibly be incubating the virus, not show any symptoms at all, but they could be shedding virus.
Right.
One of the things we want businesses to do is to set an early opening hour for elderly and people who have heart, breathing, or diabetic conditions. And the reason we want this is our businesses are getting their interiors cleaned most often at night. So that in the early morning, the first hour of business, the virus load sitting in that store is at its lowest. This is when our elderly and people who are vulnerable. There are not many people that I know who are 60 years of age or older that do not have underlying conditions, whether it's because they have smoked in the past, whether they're currently smoking, whether they have chronic asthma from working in dusty barns over the years, whether it's somebody who has diabetes and he's now on dialysis. There are many people in our community, and that's what this opening hour would be.
Right.
Not all businesses are doing this. The governor doesn't say you have to do it, but it's a good practice. And so if you're going to interact with a business that isn't doing it, you don't have to. Go somewhere else. Or pick up the phone and ask them to start doing it. Communicate with them remotely.
Right.
Also, when you come to a business, you should see some type of a hand sanitizing dispenser right closely inside the door. Again, businesses are not required to do this, but they are told they should. And what you can do, or anybody can do, is if you don't see that, that could be a clue that this is a business that you don't want to do business with until they start doing that.
Right.
So this is where we use our personal responsibility to identify the businesses that are doing these practices and show them your business. And the ones that aren't, just shy away from. And they will get the message. In a perfect world, it would be great that everybody would do it right out of the gate. But you know as well as I, there are always people in this world that are trying to do things in the least responsible manner as possible.
Right.
The other point is, in the governor's order, he was going to allow, if there's a funeral, up to 50 people to attend the funeral. We strongly disagree, along with our funeral practices here in Reidsville. We would like that to be limited to 10. If in the future there is a funeral which more need to attend, please don't forget that family members could be in individual cars with the windows rolled up, air conditioning going, and they could be able to at least take part in a funeral procession, or maybe even listen to the funeral service on a specific channel that a funeral service would be provided.
Right.
We have to be a little bit inventive about how we can continue to socially interact, but at the same time, keeping that 6-foot distance. It's incredibly important for us to do this for at least the month of April, but we need to get into this habit, because if you look at the timeline of other cities that have had somebody die to when they have their highest number of cases to when it quiets down, it's actually going to be more than 4 weeks.
Right.
And so let's get into the habit so that if it has to go for more than 4 weeks, we already are in a routine that we can do it.
Now let's take a look at the next. Let's take a look at the next. We've got another one here, and this is city operations. We're really running short on time, so I just wanted to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we just wanted to let everybody know how is this affecting city operations, Mayor? What's going on with city operations? Are all the offices closed? Are people working? Are they working limited? How's it working?
All the offices are closed for the public to enter. However, all functions are going on. We also are spreading people around so that if somebody does get exposed, it's not going to expose more than 1 or 2.
Right.
We actually have an employee now who is going through a self-quarantine because of exposure to a person who did have COVID-19.
Right.
And so we're trying to mitigate and limit the number of people who are taken out of operations because they have to do a self-quarantine for 2 weeks.
So we see here that city offices are open, but by appointment only. Utility payments, if someone wants to pay their utility bill, they can certainly do that. There's several different options available to them. Is that right?
That's right. Pay it online. If you call in, it could be as simple as you meet them in the parking lot behind City Hall to hand them an envelope with your payment inside the envelope.
Right.
At the same time, you could just as easily just put in the drop boxes behind City Hall, and then we don't have to have an employee come out to possibly get exposed. Also, all organized city activities at this point are postponed. Our parks are open for people to walk, keep your distance, but the playground areas are closed. We do not want people climbing on the playground equipment because that's where viruses can occur and stay there for a period of time, and the next person who puts their hands on it could expose themselves.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, there are updates there. You see reidsvillenc.gov, very easy to maneuver, and you can keep up with things going on there. Mayor, you issued another Code Red alert on Sunday, and it's very easy if someone wants to sign up to receive Code Red alerts to their phone, whether it's a home phone or whether it's their mobile phone. They can get these Code Red alerts from you on Sundays. And how do they do that?
Well, basically, they will text, I believe it's 99411, and then after they plug that number into their phone, they then type in the message, Team Reidsville, all one word.
And that way they can receive those alerts directly from the city of Reidsville. This works out great. This is how we get our alerts from the city of Reidsville here at Star News TV. People at home can do the same thing, right?
That's exactly right. And one other thing I'd like to bring up about city operations. We have just announced we are having a special meeting for City Council at 4 o'clock on Friday. It will have limited attendance because we want to keep the number under 10, and we want to keep the number in the lobby 6 or fewer. And basically, City Council is going to have 3 members call in, 4 will be present, spread out obviously, because we are going to consider the current governor's stay-at-home order. And as you know, we have already passed, we have all agreed unanimously that we wanted to pass a stay-at-home order for Reidsville, but we put that in abeyance. In other words, we did not implement it. Well, Friday we're going to discuss implementation of measures that could be, at the very least, more clarifying than what the governor's stay-at-home order is.
Right.
It will only supersede the governor's order if we have more stringent guidelines in a specific area. But the governor's order will stay in place.
Mayor, unfortunately, we're not going to. We had a video we wanted to show everybody. We are not going to be able to do that today, but we do have it, and we're going to show that next week. How about that? If we do that, a great video that puts people to remember that we're going to all get through this. But we've got to look after ourselves, and we've got to remember that when we look after ourselves, we look after other people as well. And so we're going to show the video next week. Unfortunately, we can't get it on today, but we will do that. So, Mayor, any parting words? We're almost out of time. I'll give you 30 seconds. So what would you like to tell the people of Reidsville?
Absolutely. Thank you for having the conversation with me, and I will give you the ability to play that video at any time you want to.
Oh, great.
You have to be following our hour.
It's a great video. It really is. It's a fantastic video, and we're going to share that with our viewers. And I do believe this was put together. Rhonda Wheeler, I believe, put it together. So we do want to thank you, Mayor, for being with us on the air. I know that it helps for our viewers to hear directly from officials like you and others. And I know that this makes them, when they can hear it directly, or in the case of you, a veterinarian, and I know you'll appreciate this, from the horse's mouth. As a large animal veterinarian, you can appreciate that. So we will have you back with us again next Wednesday. We'll play your Code Red alert for this coming Sunday on Monday, and then we'll see you again or talk with you on the air next Wednesday. How about that?
Yes, that'll be great. Thank you, and please stay safe.
Thank you. Reidsville Mayor Dr. Jay Donecker addressing the current situation with COVID-19, the coronavirus, and how it's impacting the city of Reidsville. We will be back. We've got more coming up right after this.